guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled Valet for a Day, or more like 5 minutes. For context here, my girlfriend, F20, and I, M21, met through Discord and are currently long distance. I had gone to visit her over 4th of July week in California. So my girlfriend and I had a mall date planned for that day. Nothing all that special, I know, but we don't get to see each other in person that much, so we take what we can get. Anyway, I'm sitting at the doorstep of the hotel I'm staying in, waiting for my girlfriend to come pick me up. She was still living in her mom's apartment at the time, so staying with her was a huge no-no. I'm sitting there scrolling through Reddit, when all of a sudden this older lady pulls up in her SUV, leaves it there, not in a parking spot, and goes inside, presumably to check in. I shrug it off and go back to my phone. A few minutes later, the lady walks back out and asks, "Excuse me, could you be a dear and park my car for me?" I didn't know if I thought I was a valet guy or whatever, but I was the only other person there, so she couldn't have been talking to anyone else. I figure I don't have anything better to do while I wait for my girlfriend, so I say, "Sure, I can do that. That spot over there, okay?" I point to the nearest available parking spot. She hands me her keys, saying, "As long as my car's nice and parked, it's fine by me." So I get in her car and take it right to that spot without an issue. By the time I get out of the car, my girlfriend has pulled up, most likely wondering why the hell her boyfriend is getting out of someone else's car. I give my girlfriend a little wave, walk over to the lady and hand her keys back over. As I did, she handed me a $20 bill, thanking me for my help. I told her she didn't have to do that, but she insisted, saying I didn't have to park her car either, but I did so anyway. So I thank her for the money and step into my girlfriend's car. When my girlfriend asks what just happened, all I can do is look at her and say, "I'm not quite sure." I explained the whole thing to her while we were at the mall later on, and we had a good laugh about it. So yeah, not the Karen-type drama people are probably used to from this sub, but I thought this wholesome little bit was worthy of being here. The next story is titled I Actually Worked There, but just filling the stock. We worked for a job agency. I wore my own clothes. The people who had a contract there a uniform. So an elderly couple come in and ask me why, where something is. I said, "Please ask that woman over there. I don't know," and I went on what I was there for, make a round through the store keeping it tidy. When I made the full circle, they are at the exact same spot waiting for me, expecting to have their item. I guess they didn't understand me, but I'm walking around there in my own clothes. Besides, why wait so long? The next story is titled No. A polo shirt and a fast walking pace do not mean I work here. I'm a teacher, and yesterday after work, I raced to the pharmacy after school to pick up a prescription. I was in a blue polo with school name and logo, fairly large on the left breast, along with jeans and my yellow teacher ID card hanging from my belt. I was in a bit of a hurry, since it was getting late and I knew that I would have some insurance and / or doctor issues in getting the prescription refilled. It wound up being both. In the US, both of the major pharmacy chains are red, and both use either red or gray uniforms most of the time. Nonetheless, my very blue shirt didn't stop an older gentleman standing at the end of the aisle that leads to the pharmacy counter from asking me where some item was. I didn't understand or acknowledge him the first time, so as I approached him at a brisk pace, he repeated himself a little louder. While I still didn't understand what he said, being mentally preoccupied with the pharmacy issues I was sure I was about to run into, I said, "Sorry, I don't work here." I was nearly even with him at this point, so looking closely at the logo and color of my shirt, he replied with awe, "So you don't?" "Sorry." "No problem," I answered, and continued on past him without breaking stride to fight the behemoth that is the American healthcare system. I won the battle, but the war rages on. At least he was polite all the way around, and I got my prescription filled. The next story is titled Karen Mistakes a Parking Yard with an Auto Shop. So yesterday I was told by my dad to stop by his work and change my tires from winter to summer ones. I arrived just when they were having lunch, so maybe that's why things had to come to the point they came. I loaded the tires and tools on a cart and moved it closer to my car. Around 5 minutes into a car I have never seen arrives, and it looked really strange, because it was the typical family BMW SUV with a female coming out of it and parking space for customers is in front of my dad's work, not behind it. So in looking at her, what is she going to do? When she came close enough to me, she could hear my car radio blasting, so she gestured to lower the volume. So that's exactly what I did. The conversation went like this. Me, Karen the woman. Dad. Me, can I help you? Karen, yes, when can I come and pick my car up? Me, not knowing she thinks I'm an auto shop. I don't know, whenever you want, I guess. Karen, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna go to Tesco and buy some stuff. I will be back in 15 minutes. She then proceeds to leave the keys on my cart and walks off. By now, I'm kinda confused. What did she want from me? I assumed she wanted me to look after her car because it's quite common that other people bump with their doors into your car and just leave. So I didn't take that as a problem since it was parked a few meters from me. After maybe 30 minutes, she comes back with 2 bags. Karen, are the tires changed? Me, what tires? Karen, tires on my car, of course. Have you changed them already? For clarification, I can get easily pissed if people talk to me like I'm some slave of theirs, but it takes a lot more to make me effing lose it. Me, why the hell would I change your tires? Karen, because you already pulled tires out of your shop and had the tools out too, so that means you're open for business. Now I have realized what is going on. Me, do I look like I'm an auto shop? Now Karen made a big effing mistake. Karen, are you deaf or what, you fat moron? You have tools and tires out on a cart, so shut the duck up and change my tires. This is the point when I snapped. Let me just tell you that Czech language is very rich on swear words, and we can make a swear almost out of any word, so the translation might not be 100% precise. Me, you effing sack of crap, who do you think you are, or who do you think you're talking to? You better get the duck out of here before I shove the jack right up your ass. Karen, how effing dare you to speak like that to me? You're lucky my husband isn't with me, otherwise he would duck you up. Now get the duck to changing my tires before I slap your ugly ass face. Now my dad is coming out from the back door because you wouldn't hear us screaming only if you were deaf. Dad, what is going on? Karen, your employee is refusing to change my tires and is being very rude and disrespectful to me. Dad, he's not our employee and we don't change tires. What the duck are you doing back here anyway? Karen, I'm here to get my tires changed because my stupid husband doesn't know how. Interesting how her husband went from ducking me up to not being able to change stupid tires. Dad, we're not an auto shop, so shut your goddamn mouth and leave our parking yard. Now I should say that I was still holding a pipe from my jack, because otherwise I would already smack her. Karen, so you are rude, disrespectful, and confusing me instead of telling me that you're not an auto shop. At this point, I saw her getting ready to slap me, so I did the most simple and probably the best thing I could do. I just raised my hand, so when she was already in motion of hitting me, she hit the pipe. After that, she screamed in pain, ran to her car, and just drove off. When she was backing up, I got a look on her plate. Unsurprisingly, she was from Prague, and people from Prague usually get lost in small cities or villages. When my dad asked what the hell was that, I just answered, just another idiot from Prague, and we had a laugh about it. And just for clarification, no, she couldn't get hurt much because the impact of her hand on the pipe wasn't even strong enough for me to lose grip of it. The next story is titled Karen Gets Sent to the Hospital. It had started off as a good day until I went shopping at the local save state. With what's going on in the world, I was determined to not linger and moved on about my shopping with purpose, not lingering anywhere unless I had to, such as in the case of pausing to read a label. I did pause to help one elder lady who asked me politely if I could get something off a top shelf for her. That was my mistake. I turned to go back to my shopping when I heard a hum, "Excuse me," the call of the wild Karen. Before I'd even turned, I popped out the words, "I don't work here, never did," turned as I spoke, and there before me was a living meme. Every inch of Karen. "You help that old hag," she screeched. "Someone tried to tell me you don't work here." I helped her because she asked politely for my help, you rude old witch. Unlike you, you are rude, so you can just toddle off and take care of your own shopping. And by the way, I don't work here, I said sharply to her. Turned and went back to my shopping steadfastly, ignoring her screeching and yelling. She followed me all the while screeching for a manager. A worker approached to see what was going on and she yelled. Not asked, full-on yelled at her to get a manager immediately. The worker scuttled off, not wanting to deal with an irate customer to find a manager. Can't hold her to any blame here. It didn't take long for a manager to show up. She, the Karen, started yelling how I was rude to her and refused to help her while at work, blah, blah, blah. When she was informed that I'm just another customer, she went bats crazy and got much louder, insisting that I do work there, and she saw me helping someone else. It was then she made a huge mistake. I turned and stepped a few feet away to grab something I was getting anyways when she screeched a wordless and charged after me. She made a grab for me, determined to see me punished for not being her servant of the moment. I dodged her easily and stepped aside, letting her rush past. When she did, she tripped and fell flat on her face and didn't immediately get up. I never touched her. She did it to herself. If that were the end, you all know I wouldn't have posted here. By the time she started to stir the police, and an ambulance had been called, police arrived first, within 5 minutes, so must have been nearby. They were checking her over as best they could without moving her when she started stirring and trying to get up. Of course, she tried to say I shoved her, assaulted her. But the manager had already told them what happened. They would view the security footage when she had been seen to. She was a mess too, bloody all down her front once she was able to sit up. Probably from a broken nose or teeth. I'll update if I find out. I wasn't cuffed, as I was being calm and not angry. If anything, I was concerned for her. The paramedics arrived shortly after and did their thing and hauled her off on a gurney. Last thing she yelled is that she was suing everyone, very loudly and very rudely. I pointed at the ceiling and said, "Security cameras, good luck with your suit." The police took a look at the security footage, got my name, address, and phone number, and sent me on my way. I'm puzzled at how nearly everywhere I go someone thinks I work there. Most people are polite and even apologetic when informed that I don't work there, but some, they make shopping or getting out a hilarious and annoying adventure. The next story is titled, "I was the derp this time at a hardware store." I was at Ace Hardware the other day, looking for a couple components to try to avoid tossing out a lamp that the cat had damaged. Project failed. I saw a guy in jeans and a red polo shirt with white writing on the left side of the shirt. He was in profile to me, so I said, "Excuse me," and launched into what I was looking for and why. He turned and said, "That's a good idea, but I work for a local plumbing company." Me, "Oh crap, I need to learn to read, sorry man." He laughed and said, "It's the third time it's happened today. I should have known better with my shirt." The next story is titled, "We don't go to school here." When I, male probably 17 at the time, was in high school in South Carolina, I went to Pennsylvania on spring break with my best friend and his family. They was originally from the Allentown area, but moved to South Carolina in 1993 when we meet in the 6th grade. He used to always tell me about going to Hershey Park, Eagles games, 76ers games, and things like that. 2 weeks before our school's spring break on a weekend, when I was at this house, his parents asked me if my parents would let me go back with them to help pack up his grandmother's house due to her going in a nursing home. On the third day, myself and Daniel, best friend, was sitting out on the porch when 2 officers had pulled up. Officer 1, "Why are you not in school?" Me, "We're on spring break." Officer 2, "That's not for another 2 weeks." Me, "We're not from here. We live in South Carolina." Daniel, "Yeah, if you look at the back of my dad's van, you'll see it has South Carolina plates. We're just here to pack up my grandmother's house." Officer 1, "What school do you go to?" Me, "School name in South Carolina." Officer 2, "What school do you two really go to?" Daniel, "School name in South Carolina." Officer 2, "I believe you to go. Local school name. They always have kids ditching school." Daniel, "No, we're really from out of town." Me, "Yeah, I can show you my driver license and school ID card." Daniel, "I can call me dad to come outside if you don't believe us." Daniel opened the door and calls out for his dad, but he's in the shower and doesn't hear him, and his mom left to go to the store down the block with his sister. Officer 1, "We're taking you boys to the school." Me, "Well, and can I drive?" Daniel, "I wonder if it's lunchtime at the school." As they are putting Daniel and myself in the car, Daniel's dad comes outside. "Dad, what are you doing to my boys?" Officer 1, "Taking them to school." Officer 2, "You're going to be in trouble for these boys ditching school." Dad, "We don't live here. We live in South Carolina. They're on their school's spring break. We're only here for pack up my mother-in-law house cause she is now in a nursing home. If you looked at the plate of my van, you would have seen it has South Carolina plates on it. Did you ask the boys for their driver's license or school ID card? At this point, I'm in the back of the car. Me? Come on, what's taking so long? I'm ready to go to school. I don't want to miss lunch. Daniel? Yeah, come on. I think it's tacos for lunch today. I love tacos. Officer 2, please step out the car. Me? But what about our talks? Dad? Boy, get out the car. What a day that was. The next story is titled, No Lady. You are wrong about absolutely everything. Last time I stopped by Pearl Harbor was maybe January 2020. I had some hours to kill and I like going through the exhibits, reading the histories and so on. I had to park pretty far away, and while walking in, I was checking out the different types of people coming and going. Nothing stood out other than the sheer variety, really. When I approached the gate, there was one couple in front of me. I don't remember much about the husband, but the wife. She was in her late 40s or early 50s and dressed like she was going to a fancy dinner. She also had a massive purse and another bag of some sort. Well, they don't allow people to bring in things like that and have lockers nearby to store these items securely. Some young guys in uniform were working the gate and told her as much. She started arguing with them, getting nastier and nastier, saying they have no right to stop her and they cannot make her do anything. When she said they were just little ticket boys and she'd get their boss to fire them, someone behind me told her to have some class and remember where she is. Right then, a bunch of others in uniform passed us on the right and opened up another small gate. She started complaining to them, but they were too focused on something else. They were helping a very old man, in full uniform, get through on his wheelchair. Everyone but her recognized who this must be, and, to be honest, a kind of chill went through me. We all stopped talking and tried to pay respect in a sort of solemn, quiet way. She, however, upped her volume and tried telling the old man to get his employees in line. He ignored her, but 3 of those in uniform moved quickly and physically escorted her far away to the left and out of our sight. We were all left astounded. I don't know how many veterans of Pearl Harbor are left, but that man is a treasure. The next story is titled, You Don't Work Here, but Would You Like to? Many years ago, I worked for Home Depot as a lumber associate. I don't work there now, but I go to their stores quite often because I'm remodeling my home. The associates all know me because I dress kinda exotically and I always buy the best merchandise. They also know I used to work at a different HD store. I also help other customers who look lost. This happens a lot. One fine day, I went in and wound up buying things from every department, so naturally I helped a lot of people. And many of them mentioned how helpful the employee who forgot his apron today was. On my way out, the store managers now have a little patch that says assistant manager or store manager on their aprons, came up to me with a sheet of paper in his hand. How did you do that? Do what? You sold 3 Traeger grills, 5 lawn mowers, a big pile of electrical, 6 sinks, 3 toilets, a garbage disposer, an in-ground sprinkler system, 9 ladders, enough flooring for about 3 houses, a cart full of molding, a table saw, some paint, 1 door. You probably don't want the whole list, but it probably comes to $20,000. No one here can do that. How did you? You remember way back when the aprons had I help in every department written on them. Well, I figured they were serious about that, so I learned enough about all this stuff to be able to do it. Well, I can make you an assistant manager if you want to work for me. I apologized and told him I wouldn't want to work in a store with such a small parking lot as this one has, because I think it impacts his sales. You got that right. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.